Hare Namo Namaha. Hare
Sadhu.
Krishna, everyone.
Right.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm always feeling nervous to give class, so I fall at the feet of all the assembled devotees, my Guru Janas, the Lord, taking the dust of all of the feet of the great souls, placing it on my head, begging that somehow I can speak something that is beneficial for all of us and pleasing to you and to the Lord. So please bless me, everyone who is assembled, and whoever else will listen later, if this is being recorded. Beg the mercy of all of you. So I will try to share the screen. It seems like every time I use this, it changes where I do it. Can everybody see the verse?
Yes, sir, we can see you.
Try. Okay. This is, as you can see on the top, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, verse 59. Vidorastu tad ashtrayam nishyam guru nandana harsha shoka yutas tasmad kanta tirtha nishevakaha. Vidorastu tad ashrayam nishamya guru nandana Harshashoka Yutas Tasman Kanta Tirtha Nishevakaha Viduras Tutad Ashrayam Nishayam Gurunandana Harshashoka Yutas Tasman Kanta Tirtha Nishevakaha. Anybody who wants to read the Sanskrit, please do.
I can type it. Vidurastu tat ascharyam nishamya kurunandana harshashoka yutastasmad gantatirtha nishevaka. Thank you, Shu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Vidurastu tad ascharyam nishamya kurunandana harsha shoka yutas tasmat kanta tirtha nishevakaha.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Canada. Vidrastu tad asa akshariyamam nisamya kurunandana harsha soka yutas tasmat ganta tirtha nisevakaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Vidurastu tad ascharyam nishamya kurunandana harshasoka yutastasmad ganta tirtha nishevakaha.
Hare Krishna. Vidurastu tad ascharyam nishamya kurunandana harshashoka yutastasmat ganta tirtha nishevakaha. Thank you, Prabhu.
Anybody else? I can't see who's on the call when I'm sharing, so okay.
Everyone did do a
It's done? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for Vidura also. Too, but that incident. Ashcharyam. Wonderful. Nishamya, seeing. Kurunandana, O son of the Kuru dynasty. Harsha, delight. Shoka, grief. Yuta, affected by. Tasman, from that place. Ganta, will go away. Tirtha, place of pilgrimage. Nishevakaha, for being enlivened. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Vidura, being affected with delight and grief, will then leave that place of sacrifice, a place of sacred pilgrimage. Vidura, being affected with delight and grief, will then leave that place of sacred pilgrimage. Vidura was purport. Vidura was astonished to see the marvelous departure of his brother Dhritarashtra as a liberated yogi, for in his past life he was much attached to materialism. Of course, it was only due to Vidura that his brother attained the desirable goal of life. Vidura was therefore glad to learn about it, but he was sorry that he could not make his brother turn into a pure devotee. This was not done by Vidura because of Dhritarashtra's being inimical to the Pandavas, who are all devotees of the Lord. An offense at the feet of a Vaishnava is more dangerous than an offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. Vidura was certainly very liberal to bestow mercy upon his brother Dhritarashtra, whose past life was very materialistic. But ultimately, the result of such mercy certainly depended on the will of the Supreme Lord in the present life. Therefore, Dhritarashtra attained liberation only, and after many such liberated states of life, one can attain to the stage of devotional service. Vidura was certainly very mortified by the death of his brother and sister-in-law, and the only remedy to mitigate such lamentation was to go out to pilgrimage. Thus, Maharishi Yudhisthira had no chance to call back Vidura, his surviving uncle. Om Agyan Trividandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramnitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svaha Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Raghunath Swaminiti Namane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Astyatya Deshatarine Vanchakarpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Utitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavandayaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namanego Navashe Nama He Krishna Punana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Shuruto Pangor Mama Mandir Nadirgati Matsarva Sampadam Bojo Radha Madhya Mohana Divya Vrindavan Kalpadurmadha Srimad Ratnangara Samasanasto Srimad Radha Shri Govinda Devo Vishtalavi Sivyamano Smanhani Shriman Rasarasaram Vivam Sivatati Dashritaha Karshan Vinosvanir Gopir Gopinata Shri Stunaha Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Davaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, I beg the mercy of the assembled devotees. Please bless this poor insignificant fool, Bala Nitai Das, with the words to glorify the Lord and his wonderful qualities, pastimes, and names. You see, this is getting right at the end of the 13th chapter, where we've heard about Vidura coming back to Hastinapura from his pilgrimage and his learning from various devotees like Uddhav and Maitreya Muni. And he was originally left because of some harsh words spoken by Duryodhana, who is Dhritarashtra's oldest son. And thus he left. And after the battle of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthira Maharaj won, and all of the sons of Dhritarashtra were killed. And Dhritarashtra and his wife were living in the palace of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Vidura came back and he spoke some heavy, very pointed words, like I'm paraphrasing. I don't know the exact shlokas, but he's basically telling Dhritarashtra, you take the kingdom away from your nephews, Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, and then you send them on exile. You allow Duryodhana to do so many horrible things to them, and now you're living off of the scraps of food falling from their plate. I think he said something like that. So you're living off of them after so many atrocities you've done. What is this? This is not befitting somebody who's, of your stature. Don't fall into this illusion. Come on, brother. Wake up. Get out of the material world. Jeev Jago. Wake up, sleeping soul. Come on, let's go. Do something worthy in your life. This simply trying to eat, sleep, mate, and defend this materialistic life. Don't live it any longer. Come on. Do some austerities. You're becoming old. You can't see anymore. You can't walk nicely. Your mucus in your throat. All these different things are happening. Old age is upon you. Use the last of your days to develop some self-realization. So under the instruction of Vidura, Dhritarashtra left the palace, and Yudhishthira Maharaj woke up. He's walking around offering his pranams to all of the different elders and giving blessings to the youngers and everything in his morning routine of doing the kingly things that kingly people do. And he came to the room of Dhritarashtra and his aunt and realized they were gone, and he couldn't find them anywhere in all of the palace. So he's thinking, whoa, what's happened? Have I made some offense? See, this is the great souls. They always look at themselves they're introspectively minded in always trying to see their own faults rather than seeing the faults of others. This is the symptom of a Vaishnav. So Yudhishthira Maharaj thinks that he did something wrong, and so he is, quite concerned about the whereabouts of his uncle. And just then, Narada Muni shows up and begins to narrate what has happened. And so this is the end of his instructions, and telling him what has happened. The previous verse we saw that in the fire of his mystic yoga process, he burned himself in the cottage to ashes. So Vidura is now he's expressing some feelings of sadness that his brother is left, but delight that he has gained some perfection. And so, being grief-stricken, the best thing to do is to go on pilgrimage. So this is what I think Srila Prabhupada said in the purport. The only remedy to mitigate such liberation was to go out on pilgrimage, right on the end here. And so we can follow his this also. So we have some grief in our life, we can take shelter of the holy places, because where the holy places are, the holy devotees are, and we can gain benefit from the sadhu sangha. So it's noted here that Dhritarashtra, he didn't attain devotional service. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he says that he attained liberation, but not prema, because Vidura didn't give such a blessing to him. So the only way to get this prema, this bhakti prema, is to gain the favor of a premi bhakti, of a pure devotee. So we understand through Rupa Goswami's instructions and various acharyas, they state that liberation is but a simple byproduct of bhakti. So when one engages in the process of bhakti, liberation is a byproduct. So liberation is standing at the door of one who is engaged in the process of bhakti. So there's no need to endeavor separately for such a thing when one is engaged in the process of bhakti. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami explains this. And he says, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord talks about the devotees wanting those, they don't want liberation. There's 5 kinds of liberation. Srila Rupa Goswami and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says that 4 of the 5 are not unfavorable, right? So they're not desired by the pure devotees, but sometimes devotees may want them. Some devotees may want to have the same bodily complexion of the Lord, to live in the same place of the Lord. I can't remember all 4 of them. And the last one is the merging into the existence of the Lord. Who on the call can remember the other 2? Unmute and please share so we can all benefit.
We same opulence.
The same opulence and
Same form, same planet.
Same planet. I said those, right? Same place, same form, same opulence. What's the 4th one?
Same powers.
Same powers?
Yeah, I think that's the Sashi thing.
Okay. So we have the merging into the existence, or the impersonal liberation, as we would call, becoming one with the Lord. So this one is not desirable. Why? It's explained by our acharyas that in order to engage in bhakti, there has to be three things: the bhakta, the one who then there's devotion, and then there's the one that the devotion is towards. So if one merges into the existence of the Lord, then all of these become just one concomitant factor, and so there is no ability to engage in bhakti. And the bliss of Brahmananda, or the impersonal liberation, is like one small drop in the ocean of Ananda, or bliss, that is attained by the service of the Lord. So those who are engaged in bhakti, they don't want anything more but bhakti. And so this is a very undesirable source of liberation for them. So Srila Prabhupada is pointing out a very important point in this purport. An offense at the feet of a Vaishnava is more dangerous than an offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. So we have already said that in order to attain prema bhakti, pure love for the Lord, one has to have the blessings of the Vaishnava. And the opposite of the blessings of a Vaishnava is to offend them. So in order to attain this prema, we must serve the feet of the devotees, not offend them. So I thought about focusing on this for a few minutes. I was thinking about a few places. Hopefully this will come up properly. Can you still see the screen, everyone?
Yes, Prabhu.
So in Srimad Durya Kandamini, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur speaks very elaborately on the process of anartana vritti. So I thought about reading a few things from here, because they're very beneficial for us in our bhajan. Because after all, we're followers of Rupa Goswami, who is a follower of Lord Chaitanya. Not only a follower, but he was empowered by Lord Chaitanya to distribute, him and the six Goswamis, to distribute the teachings that Lord Chaitanya came to give. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, great Rasik Vaishnavacharya in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami, has compiled this Madhurya Katabini for the benefit of the sadhaka, so that when we're engaging in our bhajan, we can see where we are according to the different stages of development of devotional service that is manifesting in our heart. So we've all heard Srila Ramapad Swami Maharaj gave a really nice presentation in the last few years on this class. So many of us on this book. So many of us have probably already heard, but for our own purification, and my purification, I thought to speak on all of this. I hope it's have your blessings. So this is the translation of from Sripad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. He gives some commentary also that I wanted to point out, because there's some points that come out that I wanted to bring. So furthermore, this is the first verse of the chapter entitled Anartana Vritti. So you see there's one H because it's broken out into different places, because Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's first verse is very long. So he says, furthermore, one may have committed nam aparad unconsciously, either long ago or recently. One can understand the existence of nam aparad by noting the symptoms. However, if one then develops firm faith in bhakti by constantly chanting the holy name, gradually all these offenses will be eradicated. If the offense has been committed intentionally, however, then some special means to mitigate are recommended. So this furthermore, he's speaking about is these different stages of devotion of anarchana vritti: duskritota, sukritota, bhaktiuta, aparadota. So the first one, as you can see here, obstacles born of past sinful acts. So these come up as avidya, ignorance, asmita, false ego, rag, attachment. Not rag bhakti, but rag for material attachment, hatred, absorption in worldly objects. And then it also is desire for liberation, desire for heavenly, for heaven, desire for material enjoyment. So obstacles born of past pious acts. So the desire, these are more pious things: desire for liberation, desire for heaven, desire for material enjoyment. Where this first one are the sins that have been created. I mean, the obstacles that have been created by our past sinful activities, and we engage in sinful activities because of ignorance or false ego, or just simply because we're attached. Hatred. This comes up in various ways of hatred of others, hatred of oneself. Hatred is not it's not a favorable component in the heart of a sadhaka, because the sadhaka shouldn't be overly attached or overly detached from this material world or this material body, because ultimately the body is a vessel to serve Krishna. If we don't have this material body, then we can't serve Krishna. So it is through the means of the mind and the senses that we engage in sadhana bhakti, and that is targeted toward bhava or prema. So 3, obstacles born of imperfectly performed bhakti. This is the desire for profit, adoration, distinction, labha, puja, pratishta, worldly gain, worship, and adoration. So sometimes when the devotee is engaged in devotion in their bhajan, there is a desire that I want to be known as a good speaker. I want to be known as a good pujari. I want to be known as a good cook. I want to be known as a good kirtan leader. I want to be known as a good this or a good that, the best in all of the world. Everyone will bow down to me when they see how great I am in my bhajan, like that. So this is the seed, the weed of pratishtasha, the desire for adoration or distinction, or some worldly gain, whatever it may be. So these are very dangerous obstacles, and the most dangerous of them all is the aparad, past offenses, the 10 offenses to the holy name specifically. So at the beginning of this this chapter of Anarchana Vritti, and he is speaking about seva aparads. And so seva aparad is like the different offenses to the deity. Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Srila Prabhupada in Nectar of Devotion explains all of these seva aparads. So you can look back and see all of them. I'm not going to list them all. There's like 60 something of them. But like going into a temple with their shoes on, or going in front of the deity on a palanquin, something like that. These are different seva aparads. Passing air in front of the deity to worship the deity with food still in the mouth, things like that. Not being clean, So, but Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is saying in this verse that that all of these other offenses, however, if one develops firm faith in bhakti by constantly chanting the holy name, gradually all these offenses will be eradicated. So all these offenses are these other ones. Now he's saying that if we are committing these offenses on purpose, then this constitutes nam aparad, because the seventh nam aparad is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. So this is a very dangerous offense, because it's like taking the mercy of the holy name and saying, I would do whatever I want, and just the name will protect us. But this is not the way that works. We don't have a free right to engage in improper activities. So this is called the strength of the sinning on the strength of the chanting the holy name. So the second sentence here, one can understand the existence of namaparad by noting the symptoms are these obstacles here: laya, or drowsiness; kshepa, distraction; aprititapati, incompetence; shaya, contaminated consciousness; rasa vada, taste for mundane pleasure. When we have any of these 5 things, then we know that we are still having some aparad in our life. If we are still having this bhajana kriya, thick and thin practice, oscillating resolve, struggle with sense enjoyment, inability to uphold vows, and enjoying mundane benefits of bhakti, these 6 items are still prevalent in the heart, then we know that there is still some aparad that we're doing, and that we should take shelter of constant chanting of the holy name, and it will eradicate all of the offenses. This is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's recommendation in Nadurya Kadambini. So he explains that there is the first offense of the holy name, to blaspheme the devotees, the saintly persons or bhaktas, is the first offense, first of the 10 offenses. Here the word ninda also means envy, malevolence. What does it mean? Sorry, I'm not so smart. A state of being malice, having malice toward the devotees or other similar dispositions. So the blasphemy of the devotees of the Lord Chaitanya called this the mad elephant offense, the offense in which destroys all of the different, and it destroys the garden. So Lord Chaitanya gives a nice analogy when he starts speaking about this. He says that every bhakta should be a gardener, and he should put up a strong fence around that garden, because what has been what should you cultivate in that garden? The Guru has given you a seed, and that has planted it in the heart. That seed is the seed of bhakti. And that bhakti is a creeper, and it begins to sprout 2 leaves. And as it grows, one must carefully cultivate it with the process of hearing and chanting. You water it with the process of hearing and chanting. And all of the 9 processes of devotional service, but headed by hearing and chanting, remembering the norm, name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. If we properly water that seed, it will grow into a great tree. So but if we're not careful, weeds will grow. Pratishta, puja, labha, the desire for profit, adoration, distinction. These different weeds grow up in the heart alongside the bhakti creeper. These different, what we see as anarthas, can grow. And if we're not careful and we start to water that seed of pratishta, of puja, of the desire, pratishdasha, right? If we desire these things and water the seed, by desiring them, it's watering them, it's making them grow stronger. It's very dangerous. And if we allow the offenses of the holy name to continue, it will destroy that creeper. And I don't know, I've never seen a mad elephant. Maybe some of you from India have seen a mad elephant, but I've heard that it's very dangerous. A mad elephant, very dangerous. That it can go in and it can destroy a forest. So what to speak of a little creeper of devotion that is just fledglingly growing in this material world. We have to be so careful that it doesn't get destroyed. And Lord Chaitanya says that this mad elephant, if we allow it into our garden, finished. Everything is finished. So blaspheming the saintly devotees is the first offense to be careful of. And in this verse, we can see of how devastating the entire dynasty of the Kurus were destroyed simply by the offense to the Pandavas. There's a devotee that's spoken about in, I think it's in Chaitanya Bhagavatam. I'm not sure if it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I can't remember his name. Maybe somebody remembers, but there's when Lord Chaitanya started the Sankirtan movement, they were all chanting all day, all night. All night, let's say all night at the house of Srivas Thakur, called Srivas Angam. And the Lord would dance in ecstatic love with all of the devotees while chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. His long arms were raised in the air, and all the devotees would dance and they would chant so loudly. It was disturbing the different people of the area. And there were some very envious brahmanas who were like, what are they doing? This is nonsense. Why are they chanting this so loudly? These mantras are supposed to be chanted silently. If they aren't careful, they're going to wake Mahavishnu, and he's going to destroy everything. And or the king of the Nawab Hussein Shah is going to hear, and he's going to come with his soldiers. So we should take this Srivas, and we should, kick him out of Navadvip. One of them were no. Let's just defame him. So they came up with a plan to bring some items of worship of Durga, and they did this. They put it on his front lawn, and like staged this thing where they were like, saying they were, engaging in nonsense activity with like virgin girls and different, Kali pujas. So he was speaking very harshly against him. And so there's due to this this blasphemous talk of the devotees, and specifically Srivas, this devotee came down with very bad leprosy, so many diseases. He was he couldn't, function in society anymore. He lost everything. And when Lord Chaitanya came back to Navadvip, the devotee fell at his feet and said, "Please forgive me." He said, "I can't forgive you. You offended Srivas. You have to fall at his feet and get his blessings. Only then can you be free from your offense." So he fell at the feet of Srivas, and Srivas, being a great devotee, very kind and compassionate heart, he forgave him, embraced him, and he was cured from his offense. There's various stories like this throughout. If we have time at the end, there's another one that I'd like to speak about. I don't know if we'll have time, but Lord Chaitanya was very emphatic about not speaking ill about anybody. So even of any persons in the not only the devotees, but in Srimad and the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he says, no benefit results from criticizing others. It only results in sins. Those who do not criticize are the most fortunate. Lord Sri Krishna will most certainly deliver any person who, while uttering his name, never criticizes anybody. So Lord Chaitanya brought it to even criticizing others. So as aspiring Vaishnavas, we should make a very strong point not to criticize anyone, not the devotees, not the materialists. We should respect everyone. Amanina manadena, right? We should be humble like a blade of grass. Trinadapi sunichena tarorivasa hishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sada harihi. We want to chant constantly. By this constant chanting, all offenses are eradicated, right? This is what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says in the beginning of this verse, right? That and then how do we chant constantly? By being humble like a blade of grass, tolerant like a tree, not desiring any, but giving respect to everyone, not desiring any respect for oneself. So giving respect, being non-envious, non-blasphemous. This is the ornament of a devotee. So another thing I wanted to bring up too was, what are offenses? So the word nindya is used to indicate envy and blasphemy, and the Skanda Purana is written. So 6 types of offenses to the devotees. There are 6 types: to beat or kill a Vaishnava, to criticize a Vaishnava, to be hateful towards a Vaishnava, to not welcome a Vaishnava, to show anger towards a Vaishnava, and to not feel happiness upon seeing a Vaishnava. So we should try to keep these in the, when we're in the association of the devotees, in the forefront of our heart, to not feel happiness upon seeing a devotee. Wow, this is that's a very subtle thing, and can be easily overlooked. So we should be careful. Criticizing can come down to even what is Rupa Goswami says in Upadeshamrita, whether one has like a infirm body. What is that verse? Anybody remember which verse that is? that when that we should not criticize others. What is that verse? That text 5. One should mentally honor the devotees who chant the holy name of the Lord. One should offer humble obeisances to devotees who have undergone spiritual initiation.
Dishte svabhava janite vapatishta doshir. Text number 6, Prabhu.
Is it 6?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you. I just saw criticize others in that verse. So I got overly enthusiastic. Let's see. I have the book here. I don't have all these verses memorized like you great devotees. Verse 6. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee as having a body born in a low family, body and a bad complexion, deformed body, or diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seemingly defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted, exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles and foam and mud. The Ganges waters does not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. And thus, by the association of such devotees, one becomes purified like they do when they bathe in the Ganga. That's an addition. That's not actually part of the verse, but I've heard that from great souls. So all of these different conditionings in the heart and the mind from our previous sinful and unfortunate association with the material world and material desires, we sometimes see the faults in others. But one must cultivate to see the faults in oneself and not see faults in others, and thus guard against criticizing others, and especially the Vaishnavas. I've heard from great souls that if we are too accustomed to criticizing others, eventually that criticism will come into the assembly of devotees. The mind will be so contaminated with finding faults in others that it will start finding faults in the Guru and Krishna and in the Vaishnavas. And then our spiritual life is completely finished. We can't, and we won't even be able to recognize the good qualities in others. And this is this is not befitting a servant of Lord Chaitanya. So he's saying, don't never criticize anyone. This is let's see, was there anything else I'm thinking? So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he concludes the 10 offenses on the 4th one. I think he lists all of them, but he basically is describing that if we are committing any of these offenses, then the holy name will purify the heart of these offenses. So so if we are experiencing a lack of enthusiasm, a tendency to want to enjoy the material world, these different items that we looked at here, then we can understand that we are still having one offense or another. But rest assured, if we take shelter of the holy name, we chant the holy name constantly, these offenses will be eradicated by the mercy of the holy name. Just be careful not to engage in sinful activities or in operads on the strength of the holy name. something that I was wanting this. Something popped in my head that I can't remember what it is now. But soon by this, oh yes, that's what it was. Srila Prabhupada, he would oftentimes tell the devotees, when you're working with your hands in the kitchen or doing whatever work you're doing, you can be chanting. This doesn't mean that one has to be sitting with their japamala chanting, their eyes closed and sitting, no movement or anything, or in kirtan with the devotees. These are times where we should have utmost focus and focus and devotion. But during the day, we should have that same focus while we're doing other activities. We should be chanting as much as we possibly can. Sometimes when we're having to interact and speak, can't always be chanting, but as much as possible, the holy name should be reverberating within the heart, within the tongue, in the mind. All three. When we chant, it's not just the tongue. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. We're thinking about, profit, adoration, distinction, thinking about eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These are not the things to be thinking about when we're chanting. When we're chanting, it should be with the heart and with the mind. The mind focused on hearing the name, on the meaning of the name, on the pastimes of the Lord, on the abode of the Lord. These things we should be thinking of as little as possible, thinking, hearing, and remembering the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. As much as possible, keep the mind fixed during japa, during kirtan, and throughout the day. This is chanting constantly, at least regularly, a fixed number every day. This is also considered constantly. I only have a few minutes. Let me go back to the verse and see if there's anything else. I think I touched on the points that I wanted to, other than the last thing that I wanted to speak. But I want to give time for if there's any questions or reflections. Devotees can unmute and please ask. I'll leave the verse up in case there's anything on the verse. And if there's nothing the last few minutes, I'll share something.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful lecture, Prabhuji. Very beautiful lecture. You covered so detailedly about the offenses as a devotee, how we should be very, very cautious about it. Yes, Prabhuji. So before I touch upon those comments, I just want to say that one of the comments I made is the Sashti being the powers of the Lord. That's same as the opulence of the Lord, which Narthamala Prabhu said. The fourth kind is actually Samipya, which is becoming associated. So, but yeah, the important thing here is that none of those devotees who are in Vaikuntha have prema. Prema is a totally different thing. So, thank you, Prabhu. So you covered.
No, they have prema.
No, Prabhu, they don't have prema because they are all mixed devotees. Prema is like a totally different thing. Yeah, pure devotion is the only way, and the Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyana. So these are mostly Karma Mishra Bhakti, with the Bhakti being the more predominant thing in their practice, but they have a mixture of Karma or Jnana. They achieve these types of liberation, but they don't have prema. Yeah. So Yes, Prabhu. So you mentioned about how offenses is such a big problem that everyone has to be very cautious about. One of the point I heard is like offenses is also like bhakti only. Only thing is it's negative bhakti. So our progress in bhakti is like a net average of how much we are doing devotional service and minus how much we are doing offenses. So yeah, that way logically we should commit relatively less offenses compared to the amount of bhakti we do. Yeah, that the stages where I am right now is like spontaneously offenses is the only thing which comes out, and consciously we have to practice avoiding offenses. And one of the points I want to mention is like I think it's Ramanujacharya who mentions the different types of offenses for a devotee, and one of the point he mentions is like offending a family member because of too much familiarity. Um, because familiarity breeds contempt, and if there are devotees in the family, it's very easy to not give the same respect that they deserve, or how we treat other Vaishnavas outside our family. So that is very easy to do. And yeah, even for example, in the deity worship, if there is a mistake in the preparation or something, one can just snap at the family member who's a devotee. But ultimately, the offense which is caused in, like you said, the seva aparat, it's relatively less impactful than actually, scolding the family member for causing that offense. That offense, Vaishnava aparat, is much higher than the seva aparat. So this is one point you already mentioned. Another thing I wanted to say is, in most cases, we tend to think that um, if we haven't had a like a what to say sinister intent, or no, not that's not the right word, like an intent to offend. I did something, but the other Vaishnav took it as an offense, but I didn't really intend it. So if that person has taken it as an offense, that's not my problem. That used to be the understanding I had. But what I was hearing in one of the classes is that even having this mentality that it's okay for the other Vaishnav to be offended, it's his problem, right? What did I do? That itself is offensive. So when I heard it, I could see that how high of a bar there is for offenses, that one has to try to climb up and try to avoid all of that. So it's really scary. Well, this is where we have to slowly practice, go from unconsciously committing offenses to consciously avoiding, and slowly come to the stage of unconsciously also avoiding offenses. So thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful lecture. I loved it a lot.
Thank you for sharing these points. I was thinking of that, the family member one too, when I was thinking about the different, the 6 kinds of offenses. So thank you. I forgot to bring that up. And yeah, and the other point was illustrated in a pastime of Sri Rupa Goswami while he was doing his bhajan. He was laughing at a pastime he was observing in his meditation, while a devotee was walking by who had like a crippled and improper body. And that devotee thought that Rupa Goswami was laughing at him. He felt very bad and went away. And when he felt bad, Rupa Goswami's meditation broke. And thus he had to figure out why that had happened. And it came to understand that devotee was offended by him laughing. And it was cleared up. But this is an example of of making some offense without an intent can still be harmful. Thanks for bringing those points up. As far as the prema part, I can't think of verses, but it's something that I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's an explanation in the Sara Varshini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhagavad Gita commentary. He goes through in detail about what category of devotees reach these 4 are the 5 types of liberation. So Yeah, but we understand that prema is only through Anya Abhilashada Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyana Vrita. So there is no mixture of any of these things. So only with pure devotion we achieve prema. So that's the reference.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for a wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you for focusing on the Namaparag aspect very beautifully, Prabhu. That is a wonderful class, taking the particular point and elaborating it with the commentary by Sri Bhaktivinoda Maharaj as well. Thank you for sharing that, Prabhu. I was thinking about the Janata Prabhu's statement about they say this verse. This was quoted or often quoted by Sri Jiva Goswami from the teachings of Rishabhdev. It's 556. Chapter 5, verse number 6, he says that Pritirna Yavan Mai Vasudeva Namuchate Deha Tabat. So, without love, Pritirna Yavan Mai unto me, Namuchate, one cannot get a body in the spiritual world. So, Prema being the defining category to get a body, or better so to say, if one wants to leave the body from this material world, Pritirna Yavan, that's what he said, without love. Until one has love for Lobaseva, which other than myself, he's certainly not delivered from having except metal body again and again. That is what Sri Jiva Goswami says. And I think I know Jiva is talking about that four categories of devotees. Please correct me wrong, Prabhu, if I'm wrong. 4 kinds of devotees. Artho Arthat Jignasu, in that particular commentary, Vishwanath Thakur, I think he goes great depth of this kind of, if I remember correctly, yes. But yeah, Bhagavatam says Peter Nayavan, and I've heard Jiva Goswami's commentary on that. But yeah, we can discuss offline as well, Prabhu. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, Prabhuji, but yeah, I can share that commentary with you. But it's clearly stated that only the Mishra Bhaktas. So Mishra means what? There is karma mixed in it, or jnana mixed in it. The mixture of jnana, the Pradhanibhuta Bhakta, jnana Mishra Bhaktas, the maximum they can achieve is Shantarati, which is at the stage above, but theirs never really materializes into prema stage. So that's like above the 5 kinds of liberation, Shantarati. Then comes the prema, which is the highest. So
one can attain prema in Shantaras. One can attain prema in Shantaras also.
Shantarasa, but not Shantarati, right? Like Rati is at the stage of bhav. So when one is,
yes.
There is a tinge of jnana. That's what all these Ashtanga yogis and they jnana yogis they achieve for. They aspire for, and the maximum they can go with that tinge is Shantarati. They never go to prema stage. And yes, Prabhu. So if there is a lot of karma mixed in it, which is that's that's part of Vaishnava culture in a lot of sampradayas. And with Mishra Bhakti, Rupa Goswami clearly states that Prema Bhakti means what? It's like Anya Abhilasha Punyam, Jnana Karma Dhyana. So karma is there, then pure devotion is. So what I want to say is like the love of God can be taken in terms of, you have to have attraction for the Supreme Lord, but that doesn't technically mean this Prema stage, which is, that's my, what I could get from.
That's where I don't mind to tell too much. Just want to mention, because Bhakti Sindhu mentioned 1 to 55, that these are not contradictory to Bhakti. In this sense, so the understanding is that if one doesn't get a chance to serve the Lord, and one can get, one says, well, I will give you this mukti or salukya, samipya, sashti, whatever, but service is not there, they say, okay, no, not really interested. That's what it's mentioned. So the service is the most important part there. But yeah, sure, but we can take, no problem too. I don't want to diverge too much.
I was always under the
thanks,
impression that, and I don't have a Shastra quote specifically, that unless one attained prema, that they could not enter the spiritual world. Because even with some mixture of karma and jnana, then there's desire outside of love for God. That's what I understood. But as I state quite often I'm not a scholar or very learned, so I could be mistaken. But it seems advantageous, or it seems like unfavorable for somebody who is not on the platform of pure love, but still has the desire to engage in some karma yoga, or karma or jnana or yoga, to enter the spiritual world. But I'd be interested to hear that commentary from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Please send it at
So
some
in
point.
the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself, there is like two types of categories of liberation, like Shuka, Aishwarya, Uttaramukti, and this other one. So Shuka, Aishwarya means it's like they have the desire for enjoyment. That's with that enjoyment in the association of the Lord in the spiritual world. That's a very commendable thing. So that type of liberation, that's the four categories. So it's there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also.
Yeah, desire to enjoy Bhagwan is not bad.
Yes, Prabhuji. But that is not.
That is not the highest, of course. That is not the highest, without a doubt. But that's not.
Yeah, when it is not the highest, that's not prema. So,
oh no, the prema has very different levels. Very different levels.
Yes, Prabhuji. That's
prema,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So prema, one doesn't have prema. If you say, oh, because they haven't enjoyed the Lord, they don't have prema. For example, the Padmavati, right? Mother Devaki's, right? So they don't have prema. How can they be with Bhagwan? Doesn't make any sense. Spiritual world. Absolutely not. They want happiness. That's why they said, oh, we'll give, whatever they have been fed Krishna, or what have been fed to Krishna, will double the amount and give it to them. I said, but they don't want to leave that. Oh, what if Krishna gives everything away? That they have that, they want to enjoy with Krishna. Because without prema, there's no entry to spiritual world. Pritirna yavan maya vasudeva 5.5.6. That's what Bhagavatam says. So, sorry for that topic.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic, but it's beyond my realization. I'm still struggling in the depths of Anartha-nivritti and Bhajana Kriya, but we have aspiration to, serve the Lord in the spiritual world. So we take shelter of the feet of the acharyas and continue chanting the holy name and hearing of the pastimes of the Lord to purify the heart. And someday we will understand these things more thoroughly. But please, Jani Taipabu, share that that quote. Is there anything else that anybody, any questions or anything else?
Thank you very much. This is a very wonderful class, Prabhu. In those days, eldest son
I can't hear you anymore, Mataji. Did she?
Yeah, from the childhood, the parents and gurus also has to be teach children to very honesty and friendship to siblings, and because of that only they are getting the fight and everything, and they also not following the morals also. That is main important. Nowadays it is okay, but previous days that is there very much. Kingdom and the ruling, everything is there. That is my understanding, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Anyway.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Well, I wish you all a wonderful rest of Kartik month. We just had a wonderful Govardhan Puja, one of the most wonderful of all festivals of the year. So I wanted to try and speak something on it, but we ran out of time. So I hope you all got to a chance to read about the wonderful pastimes of Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. And I pray that Srimati Radharani will fulfill all of your spiritual desires. And so much benefit will be gained, spiritual benefit will be gained from observing your ruts of Kartik. So thank you all for allowing me to do some seva, and please continue to pray for me. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.